Intergalactic questions. Good morning, intergalactics who are passing by here on this Friday, December 27th. Look at the sky today, guys. And then when I look at that Neptune right there, I think that when we make a mistake and we apologize, we usually expect to be forgiven, right? After all, I'm here apologizing. I have to apologize, even if the mistake is huge and we have hurt the other person a lot. Who has never been through this situation? And then when we truly repent, we look for dozens of ways to apologize, right? We get anxious for the redemption that the other person can give us. Now let's turn this camera here to the other side. This was the camera watching. Okay, guys? Are you okay with me, Noma? How do you work when someone apologizes to you? Do you usually forgive the way you like to be forgiven? Or do you hold a grudge? There are still people who, when they make a mistake, don't even apologize, right? That doesn't mean that they didn't regret it. But sometimes they are just very embarrassed. Or pride is still something that needs to be worked on in that person. And then, normally, in this case, what happens is that the person prays, can spend their life waiting for a divine intervention that will solve that thing that they can't solve on their own. Well, I brought this example here because it's easier for us to understand this energy when we are invited to feel it. And if I started here talking about welcoming the other person's feelings, putting yourself in their shoes probably, thinking about how it was with me, many times in this life you would answer mentally, oh, okay, my angel, because you don't know what the other person did to me, he did this, blah, 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 blah. I know we usually create scales for mistakes, right? There is a small mistake, there is a medium, there is a big one. And his interpretation is also very subjective because it changes according to the vision of each one. But we forget that everything is a mistake. The point here is to understand that we all make mistakes. Small mistakes, medium mistakes, and big mistakes. And it's not right for us to keep punishing each other or judging for it. I ask you, when you make a mistake, do you make a mistake on purpose, even when you are totally wrong about the reading of a situation? Or are you usually doing your best within the maturity that you managed to develop until that moment? I believe so. And why, when the other person makes a mistake, do you imagine it to be different? I ask you today to close your eyes and feel an energy called compassion. Now, mix a little bit of empathy and finally add a pound of mercy. We are humans, and humans make mistakes. We come here exactly for this, with this function, with this goal. What matters is what you do after the mistake. If you learn, if you change, if you improve, if you evolve after it or not, or if you stagnate there in that resentment, in that bitterness that will not take you anywhere, it will only define you. Even if you have not apologized, even if the other person has not apologized to you, in fact, being stuck in this event of apologies is just a distraction from the opposing energy for you not to do what you need to do, which is to welcome the mistake, learn from it, improve what needs to be improved and move on. The mistake has no purpose of massacre. It has a purpose of learning, so we need to make it a learning. Remember the little child learning to walk? No one will fight with her if this child falls to the ground, or at least it should not, right? In life, we are all learning to live, and mistakes will be part of it. We need to activate the buttons of empathy, of kindness, to put yourself in the shoes of the other, yes. Because it is so easy for us to judge without having lived the life that that person lived, without being in the situation that that person is in, without having the traumas that she carries, that you can't even know. Sometimes not even the person can elaborate about all the traumas that she carries in her baggage without being in the emotion of that person. So, between Christmas and New Year's Eve, we have a period of renewal, of love. Let's choose to do better, use our heart, leave the bruises behind, and overcome this opponent who wants to keep you distracted, waiting for that apology request that never happens. Now, an important detail to close. Forgiving does not mean trusting again, right? Trust needs to be won again. There is no way. But forgiving means that the door to a new beginning is open, like a plantation that was incinerated, and then we prepare the land for a new plant. It means moving forward and understanding the humanity of the human. Can I tell you now why these commands are so important to cross today's sky? Let's listen to the message of our dear messenger of the universe, Waldemar Falcão. He will tell us what is on the way this Friday.
Sky of December 27th, 2024. This Friday, the moon is already in the last decade of Scorpio around 7 a.m. It is at degree 25, and with that it forms a beautiful triangle with Neptune at the end of Pisces. So it is a stimulus, the sensitivity, the softness, the empathy, and as it makes this transition from the end of Scorpio to the beginning of Sagittarius, it also starts to make a triangle with Mars, which is at the beginning of Leo. So it forms a great triangle in the sky that will last all day. So lovingness, welcoming in a very firm way, and at the same time very loving. Besides, the other aspects that we feel in the sky today are already our old acquaintances. The opposition between Mercury and Jupiter, and the opposition between Mars and Pluto. But the opposition between Mars and Pluto can suffer a relief with this triangulation of Mars with Neptune and with the moon. So it already softens, but let's pay attention to our way of dialoguing and our most explosive reactions.
Summary 1. The moon will be disconnected between 11:30 and 5 p.m. So some people may notice a change in mood while this moon is out of orbit. Remember that while they are out of course, it is the technical name. Out of course, it is better not to start anything again. The best thing we can do is to follow those things that we are already more used to play the routine and be careful not to do anything too much ahead of time because they are the unforeseen. If you anticipate, pay attention to important things. 2. Tomorrow may be more anxious, more agitated today because the moon and Uranus are there measuring strength with each other. This can interfere with sleep too. It can be more interrupted, less relaxing. 3. In the part of the morning before 1:30, we have a good communication channel for those who want to tune in with the people up there. Do you need to pass a radio? Take this window here, because the cosmic Wi-Fi will send a more powerful connection signal. And then you remember that tools that Netuno likes to use to generate this conversation are music, spirituality, creative activities. 4. From 5 p.m., Pluto will make a super nice visit to the moon, all of us living the energy of the moon. Sunday before, what do we think? Let's use this time to clean the house, clean the closet, prepare for the turn. It will be a more natural flow. Those who need to donate to detach some things, to be able to open space for everything new, which I imagine has entered these last days for you, enjoy until 8:30 this Friday, and 5. At night, there for 9 o'clock, this Mars that Mazinho told us, comes also bringing animation for those who want to make some little program. So, play on what appears out there. Did you like this note? Send it to someone who may benefit from it, who may need to hear your messages. Let's go? Make an internal start over Friday out there, which I'm doing here. See you tomorrow.